It was a classic. It was an epic. It was an epic World Series, an epic Game 7. But I'm still mad at Game 6. I'm still mad, and I will not get over Game 6. I cannot get over Game 6. I shall not get over Game 6, because as great as Game 7 was, Game 6 is the game that leaves me with despair and anger and frustration. And I just cannot get past it. And I'll explain why coming up here. Remember, hit subscribe right below me. That way you get notifications and you are locked into this channel when we have different deep dives like this one, when we've got news to break down, stories to tell, and reactions to have around the world of sports. We will all, even if we weren't Toronto Blue Jays fans, which I'm not, lament all of the missed opportunities for the Blue Jays forever. And you got to, of course, tip your cap to the Dodgers, blah, blah, blah. I've got a lot of reasons why I'm annoyed by the Dodgers and why it's hard for me to tip my cap to the Dodgers, and that sounds like sour grapes. I'm not a guy from Toronto. I'm not a hardcore Blue Jays fan, but I was rooting for the Blue Jays in this instance. But Game 6 will never leave me, because that's where the series could have and should have been won by the Blue Jays. I was already annoyed going into the 9th inning, the entire night, by the Blue Jays' approach, which was attack Yamamoto early in the count. And I know that the Blue Jays made hay this way, and I know that they made their way to the World Series and a 3-2 series lead this way, and I know that there was a fast break offense aspect to the Blue Jays. But because Yamamoto had been so brilliant this October, and because you had the Dodgers down 3-2, forcing the Dodgers with their one great arm, their one great option, Yamamoto, in a must-win Game 6, knowing you had a Game 7 as kind of a cushion, if you will, I do think that one thing the Blue Jays allowed the Dodgers to do was play without having to feel the pressure mount. Because when you attack Yamamoto or any pitcher early in the count, you're up and down in at-bats. And the natural thing about baseball, which makes it so diabolical, which is so juicy in storyline and drama and theater, is the wait. The wait is perpetual. The wait is infinite because there's no clock. And I know there's a pitch clock now, and so it's not quite the same. But when you trail in a series, when you trail in a game, when you trail in an at-bat, everything becomes more and more pressurized. And I just think by hacking early in counts, that they allowed Yamamoto to dictate the pace of this entire game. And they didn't force him into uncomfortable situations. And then the 9th inning happened. And this is the single most devastating, mental breaking. This is the most harrowing part of this World Series, or maybe any World Series you will ever see. Okay, you trail in the game 3-1. It's the bottom of the 9th. You have not been able to mount any offense all night long. Sasaki's on the mound. Sasaki hits Kirk, the opening batter of the inning, and that's when Barger hits the ground rule double that sticks under the fence. Look, that's just bad luck. That is just bad luck. If that hits the base of that wall and bounces a million miles away, maybe both runs score. If it just caroms off that wall, there's no doubt that Kirk is scoring. So it's now 3-2. And if it's just a normal bounce, it's 3-2 and Barger's on second with no outs, runner in scoring position. If it bounces a little bit, Barger might be on third with no outs, and it's a 3-2 game. But instead it sticks. It sticks right there, and what can you do? It's the rule is the rule, and it's a 1 in a million shot, and it's just bad luck. Okay, so you're on second and third, but still there's no outs. So they bring in Tyler Glass now, and this is a move of desperation. And you're just giving Glass now the ultimate off the hook, let him off the hook swing. You're not even seeing the new pitcher. You're not even seeing a pitch. You're not taking a pitch. The crowd is going crazy, and you're not even seeing and taking a pitch. And even if it's not for you, it's for your dugout. Look, Clement has been everything for the Blue Jays in this postseason. He has been a feel-good story. He has been the heart and soul of the offense. So, this feels like nitpicking. But damn it, Clement, you cannot swing at the first pitch there. You just can't. Because now the entire stadium, the entire ballpark is once again in full throat. Once again, here is the roar of the crowd. Down 3-1. Now you got runners on second and third, no out. If Clement lifts one to the outfield, it's 3-2-1 away. Okay? And I just think it was such a massive missed opportunity. Let's see if Glasnow can hit strikes. Let's see. He hasn't been in this situation. He hasn't been trying to save a World Series game with runners at second and third and no outs on the road. He has not been in this pressure cooker. Let's see how he delivers, and you just give him the ultimate bailout. The ultimate bailout. So as great as Clement has been, that was devastating. And now there's one away, and you haven't gotten it out of the infield. And so even if it was one away and you got the run across, it's 3-2, you've done nothing here. And now Jimenez comes up, and the same thing basically happens. He takes one pitch and then hacks to the second pitch. And it's a good hack at the ball. It looks like it's sinking. It's going to take a good defensive play out in left field, but that's exactly what happens. And that's where Barger gets doubled off of second. And it's just the most crushing way to lose, because you have second and third, no outs, and the entire stadium is going crazy. The Dodgers have to make a desperation move to go to Glasnow away from Sasaki. You have all the momentum in the world. You've got guys sitting there waiting to come home, and you saw three freaking pitches. Three pitches. You didn't force the pressure to eat at the Dodgers. You didn't force it, and it was there. You just had to command it. And it is where the series is lost, because yes, of course, there's game 7. And yes, of course, there's all the things that have to happen in game 7. The Rojas home run and the Will Smith home run and the play at the plate and all these things that have to go for the Dodgers against the Blue Jays. But there was a chance to ice this thing in game number 6 when the Dodgers were pressed against the wall, and to use a Dennis Green phrase, we let them off the hook. And I went to bed so angry. And why does it make sense that a guy from New York cares this much about the Blue Jays? Well, because the Dodgers are so incredibly unlikable in how they've assembled this team. They won a World Series and then spent hundreds of millions of dollars on another ace. The Dodgers' big offseason acquisition the year of Shohei Ohtani was not only Ohtani, but also Yamamoto, a guy that threw 96 pitches in game 6 and then came back to throw 2 2/3 in game 7. He was the secondary option who was also paid out hundreds of millions of dollars in the same offseason. On top of which, Shohei Ohtani, the Dodgers can afford to have Blake Snell and afford to have Yamamoto and afford to have Freddie Freeman and afford to have Mookie Betts. Why? Because, well, it's kind of helped out when Shohei Ohtani, who's the greatest player perhaps of all time, certainly the most talented, is getting paid $2 million a year because of creative bookkeeping, creative accounting, where the Dodgers can pay him $2 million a year and he's deferring $68 million a season. So instead of $70 million the Dodgers are paying, they're paying $2 million for Shohei freaking Ohtani. That's convenient. On top of it, the Dodgers fans that didn't show up in crucial games of the playoffs, like the games against the Philadelphia Phillies, they yawned until we make the World Series. Then we'll finally show up. They're going to blame parking. They're going to blame how hard it is to get to Chavez Ravine. I mean, give me a break. It's hard to get to a lot of places, especially in October. There's no easy in, easy out when it comes to October. Wake us up in the World Series, please. I got no use for the Dodgers, none whatsoever. That's what makes this so brutal. And then for Game 7, to have all of those moments where the Blue Jays needed one clutch hit, one, just to give you more breathing room. The fact that after the 3-run home run by Bo Bichette, the Blue Jays cobbled together one run the rest of the way in an 11-inning affair was never going to be enough. It was holding on for dear life. It was grasping with your dead fingers, holding on for dear life. And yeah, it would have been enough if Hoffman didn't give up the home run to Rojas, which, I mean, what are the freaking odds that Miguel Rojas is the one that hits the home run? Very Mike Scioscia, 1988. And, again, we get to extras and missed opportunities, and the leadoff double by Vlad gets wasted, and the Blue Jays just ran themselves into terrible ends of innings, and how it even is possible, I don't know. But Game 6, it was there. It was there. And you didn't even force the Dodgers to earn it. You gave it to them. You gave it to them. I'll never get over that. Sorry, Blue Jays fans. You deserve better. And we got a great series and a great Game 7. But I don't feel good at all about who won that Game 7. At all. I'm DA, Damon Amendolara. Thanks for watching, everybody. Remember to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.